Hi, Mason.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Good.
Good. My name is Miss Sarah, and I'm going to be your speech teacher.
Hi.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're doing in school?
For science, I am learning about minerals.
Minerals. Nice. How about the other subjects, like reading? What do you...
We are typing about text structures and all that.
Nice. Now, if I can remember, a couple weeks ago, you guys were learning about rocks, right? In science. Awesome. That's going to be one of our goals today. And reading, I know you've been working on after a story. You've been answering a couple questions. The teacher's been giving you worksheets. Okay, great. So today we're mainly going to focus on that. We're just going to work on decoding some words by just simply reading them. And we're going to read a story and answer some questions. And I have some cool stuff planned for us, like slime. So that should be fun. So, do you have any questions before we start?
Nope.
Nope? Awesome. Well, let's get started. So first, we're going to be working on reading some of your words from your science book. And I know these were from like the last week, the last unit. But I think it's really good to review them. That way we have a good basis for reading these. And then we'll start working on words that you're learning right now, like all the minerals. So, have you ever played the heads up game before?
Yes.
You have. Awesome. So, this is how it pretty much is the same way. So, we're both going to take a turn. But instead of guessing what's on your head, you're just simply going to read it. So, when it's my turn, I'm going to give you a card. You're going to put it on your head. And I'm just going to simply read the word. All right? And then when it's your turn, you'll just pick up a card and put it on my head, and you'll just read it. So let's do the first couple for an example. So, and I also have a really cool online site that gives us some definitions. So not only do we know how to read these words, we're really understanding the meaning behind them. So, all right, I'm going to let you go first. So, be my turn. Good. Okay, go ahead.
Geology.
Nice job. This time I just want you to read the word. So can you, yep, so just read the whole word. Geology. Awesome. Mason, do you know what the term is for geology? You know what the meaning is?
No.
No. Okay, well, let's see. So if you take this, we can go and look through. Let's see here. Maybe it's the first. Oh, there it is. Okay, and then if we click on it.
This is a science that deals with the history of physical makeup of the earth.
Nice. So geology has to do with the study of pretty much rocks and how the earth was physically made. Awesome. All right. Now it's my turn. Weathering. Do you know what weathering means?
Weather?
Weathering. Yeah, just take your best guess of what it is.
Something about weather.
Something about weather. Nice, good, because you inferred that from the word weather, right? So let's see. Oh, here it is. Weathering. This is the wearing away or change of the appearance or texture of something by long exposure to things like wind, rain, or temperature change. See how the rocks have been formed down? Yeah, so weather can relate to like what it is, if it's sunny, cloudy, rainy outside, but weathering can also kind of mean the deterioration. So that's just another term that you'll find in your book. Nice. All right. So let's keep going. Pick up the next one.
Mantle.
Mantle. Nice job reading the word. Do you know what mantle is?
No.
No. I'm testing your vocab. Mantle. Mantle. Let's see what it means.
This is by far the largest the Earth's three major zones. Although the mantle is mostly solid rock, parts of it flow slowly as magma.
Awesome. So, do you remember from class, did you talk about how the earth has a core, a mantle, and a crust? So, mantle is that nice chunky area in the middle that's full of all these rocks. It's a good foundation. Awesome. Okay, now it's my turn. Mema. Did I get the word right?
No.
No. What should it be?
Magma.
Magma. Thank you for correcting me. Do you know what magma is?
It's like lava.
Like lava. That was an excellent definition. Magma is the molded, melted rock in the mantle. The liquid may contain dissolved gases as well as solid materials. Wow. Nice. Okay, now it's your turn. Your turn, yes.
Sediment.
Nice. Awesome job. Sediment. I like how you went back and corrected yourself. All right. Do you know what sediment is?
No.
No. What about if I told you it has something to do with rocks? See if I can find it. Sediment.
This is a matter like soil, rock, and sand. This is deposited by some natural process.
Nice. And there's a type of rock, right? A sedimentary rock that's formed from this, right? All right. So when we read that word, we can think about that too. Okay. So the next one is, it's my turn, right? Oh, I did that one. Yes. I'm going to skip that one because we already did that. Okay. My turn. Oh, wait, no.
I don't know. Good. I don't know how to say this way.
Okay, ready? Divergent. Divergent. Nice. Do you notice how this word was kind of hard to spell for me? So I kind of broke it down by each letter and sounded it out, and then I put it all together. Nice. So that's sometimes a strategy we can use when we're doing this. And divergent, do you know what divergent is?
No.
That's okay. Do you have any guess?
Some type of rock.
It's there's another term in here that it's the opposite of. Divergent. This one's a hard one. In geology, this is a term when objects move away from one another. All right. Nice. Okay. Now it's your turn to read a card.
Crust.
Crust. Mason, do you know what crust means?
It's the Earth's crust. It's the outside of the Earth.
Nice. It is. Because remember we talked about the mantle?
Mhm.
And the crust is simply, let's see what they have for a definition. A thin and solid outermost layer of the earth above the mantle made of solid rock and soil. Nice. Uh-oh. Now it's your turn to read a card. This one should be in your brain still.
Divergent.
Divergent. Excellent. And remember we talked about, it's a term that they use in geology for moving away from things, I believe. Yes, when they move away. So you can think of it as you're diverging away. So you move away. And the other term, which we'll come to, is when you move in. When objects move in. Okay. My turn. Mantle.
Mantle.
Oh, did I get that wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah? What was I missing?
The L.
Yeah, mantle. Good. Good job. And remember we talked about that's the Middle layer, right? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, now it's your turn. This one's a little.
Continental drift.
Nice. That was an excellent try. Let's break it down a little bit.
Continental.
Yes. Good. So put it all together.
Continental.
Yep.
Continental.
That was an awesome try, Mason. Continental. Continental. But I love how you use the strategy of breaking it down and putting it all back together. It's how reading works, especially those hard words. Do you know what continental drift means?
Some type about sand drifting or something.
Yes. That's part right. That's a part of it that does it. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Continental drift means the gradual movement and formation of continents due to plate tectonics. Did you ever talk about plate tectonics?
No.
Oh. Basically, this term means that at one time, see how the world, it was all together. But because of the poles, the gravity that we have, they're moving away. So it's a gradual movement. So continental drift is where we are now. Because many, many years ago, the Earth looked like this. Where it was all together. See how there's like South America, yeah, see? Good. And it's still moving today, which is crazy.
That's a lot of words.
Yeah. You're doing awesome, bud. A couple more.
Plate tectonics.
Yes, you got it. Plate tectonics. I love how you remembered how to slow down and break it down and put it all back together. Plate tectonics. Let's see what that word means. So remember we talked about it a little bit with the drift. Let's see. It's a branch of geology studying the folding and faulting of the Earth's crust. So plate tectonic has to do with the continents moving and also coming together. Nice. Okay, so I think for the sake of time, if you're okay with it, I will just have you read some more words, and we'll take a break. How about that? It'll go a little bit faster.
Core.
Core, excellent. And what does the core have to do?
It's in the middle of the world.
Nice job. Okay. How about this one?
Mid-oceanic ridges.
Nice. Mid-oceanic
ridges.
Good job reading that. You're so close. This is actually pronounced oceanic.
Oceanic.
Yeah, it's a little different. Mid-oceanic ridges. Did they ever talk about those?
No.
Well, because we have plate tectonics and continental drift, we also have mid-oceanic ridges, which are, these are underwater mountain ranges where plates of Earth's crust are moving away from one another. So along with the continents moving, you also have some of the plates underneath the water surface, and they create these ridges, which is kind of crazy, and waves. We did? Okay. All right.
Metamorphic rock.
Oh, nice job reading. That was perfect. Okay, so we found out that, what is metamorphic rock? How are they formed?
By lava.
Yes, that's part of it. They're formed from heat, pressure, and chemical reactions. So, for instance, an example of how it can be formed is from lava, where sedimentary rocks are formed from like mixtures of clay and sediments that have formed over the years, and they're formed from erosions, which our next word is
erosion.
Erosion. Excellent reading. And what does erosion mean?
The lava coming out of the volcano.
Ooh. That's part of it. Erosion is actually just the term for when physical removal of material from running water, glacial ice, or wind. So it's not necessarily lava, but it's more of these stuff. where the water, the ice, or the wind actually remove part of the land. And that's how sedimentary rocks are formed. All right, so we talked about divergent. How about this word?
Convergent.
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 Nice job. Convergent. And what do you think convergent means? If divergent means to objects move away, convergent means
Is coming in.
yes, objects move towards. This is a geology term for that, and we talk about that with plates. Okay, let's try this one.
Tectonic forces.
Tectonic forces, excellent. And I think we already did that term, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so we talked about metamorphic rocks, we talked about sedimentary rocks, and
Igneous rock, it's made from lava.
excellent. Good job. I think we did all your words.
Yay.
Nice. All right, so while I set up for the next activity, you can have 1 minute on the iPad. Nice job reading your words.
Now is it on the safest one?
Not yet. I'll read a story. What game are you playing?
I don't know.
Dirt bike game? Cool. All right. Okay, so 30 more seconds. Okay, 10 seconds.
Go.
Thank you. Nice job working hard. Especially when we work hard, we can do fun things. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do today is we're going to read a book. And I kind of tied it into our science, right? So, have you guys talked about satellites yet? A little bit?
We have.
Good. Okay, so this should be a nice review for you. All right, so we're going to read this book together. So we'll take turn reading pages so it's not so long. And then we're going to answer some questions. And after we answer 3 questions, we're going to make our slime. Okay, so let me hear you read the first page.
A satellite is any object in space that orbits or revolves around another object. There are 2 kinds of natural and artificial satellites. That the moon is a natural satellite that revolves around Earth. All the planets in our solar system are natural satellites of the sun. Artificial satellites are made by humans.
Nice job. Okay. Artificial satellites are high-tech tools that orbit Earth. They are like space robots that do many jobs people can't. Even though we often aren't aware of them, artificial satellites have played an important part in our lives. Since Sputnik 1 was launched in 1957, artificial satellites allow us to do everyday things such as use our cell phones, select TV programs from hundreds of domestic and international channels. Satellites help caption and negotiate ships, navigate ships, and meteorologists predict the path of dangerous storms. Thousands of satellites now orbit Earth. Similar to satellites are space probes, which usually explore other planets, moons, or asteroids within our solar system. They can also travel to far reaches of space, sending back valuable information. We're going to skip ahead a couple pages. All right, your turn.
Artificial satellites use gravity to stay in their orbits. Earth's gravity pulls everything toward the center of the planet. To stay in Earth's orbit, a satellite speed must adjust the tiniest change to pull of gravity. The satellite's speed works against Earth's gravity, just enough so that it doesn't go speeding into space or falling back to Earth. Rockets carry satellites to different types of height of orbits. Based on the jobs they need to do, satellites closer to Earth are in low Earth orbits, which can be 200 to 500 miles high. Gravity is stronger closer to Earth, so these satellites must travel at about 17,000 miles per hour. To keep from falling back to Earth, higher orbiting satellites can travel more slowly because gravity's pulling isn't as strong.
Nice reading. You're doing awesome. Couple more pages and then I'll be done. Hunks of junk. A space shuttle traveling in low Earth orbit smacked into a fleek of paint that dug a pit into a window nearly a quarter-inch wide. Space might seem pretty empty, but what's really out there is an orbiting garbage dump. Leftovers from early space missions such as gloves, lens caps, bolts, rocket motors, and meteoroids too. These objects slam into spacecraft at speeds of 170,000 miles per hour or more, causing serious damage. Satellite missions have helped NASA chart over 370,000 known pieces of space junk. After 6 years in space, the satellites come home ridden with pits of cracks and holes from space debris. All right. We'll do the next page.
Satellites that follow a lopsided elliptical or
Elliptical?
elliptical or oval-shaped orbits do so to get greater view of Earth at 540 miles up. Satellites in polar orbits travel from pole to pole and circle the Earth 18 times a day. Other satellites orbit over the equator 22,300 miles up. They move at the same speed that Earth is turning. The satellites are in stationary orbits, meaning it takes 24 hours for the satellite to circle our planet. The Earth takes 24 hours to spin around its axis. So these satellites appear to stay over the same spot.
Nice reading. Wow. So, depending on where they want the satellites to function, they put them in these different orbits, which is really cool. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to summarize these next couple pages, and then I'm going to have you read just a couple more, and then we'll be all done reading. Okay, so how satellites work. There's 4 different types of satellites. So the first one is a communication satellite, or a Comcast. It allows us to use cell phones and send emails and faxes across the globe. They allow us to broadcast television and radio programs around the world and make phone calls while flying airplanes. So that's communication. The second one is environmental satellites. They record changes in Earth's surface and atmosphere, including pollution and destruction of forests caused by human activity. They use powerful cameras to take pictures using light rays, X-rays, and radio waves. The third satellite is called the reconnaissance satellite, or spy cats. They spy on other nations. Spy cats relay coded message, monitor nuclear weapons, and observe enemy armies, and can eavesdrop on many forms of electronic communication. And our last, but not least satellite, is a weather satellite. They save lives. They monitor weather systems, wind speeds, rainfalls, and much more. Weather satellites warn us about dangerous storms such as hurricanes and typhoons. And I'm just going to finish reading this page. So I just told you about the 4 different satellites. And along with weather satellites, there are people called meteorologists. They are scientists who study the Earth's atmosphere, weather, and climate, and can make better forecasts using these satellites. Okay, now I'm going to have you read think there's only 2 more pages. Okay, go ahead.
2 more.
You can just start from right here.
Huh? But Spunknik, I was about the size of a basketball and had 4
Antennas.
That send out radio signals. It circled Earth in 98 minutes. And
You try breaking it down first. Elliptical.
Elliptical orbit. The launch of Sputnik, I was surprised Americans and mark of beginning of the space race between 2 countries. After 6 months, Sputnik, I slowly fell back to Earth, burning up in an atmosphere.
Nice job. And so Sputnik 1 was like the first thing that the scientists sent to outer space. So that'll be important to remember.
Is that it?
Let's see. I'll read the rest. There's like 1 more page. So, have you ever heard of the International Space Station?
No.
Oh, well. It is... The International Space Station is a joint effort between 16 countries. The U.S., Canada, Japan, Russia, 11 countries from ESA, and the European Space Agency in Brazil. Each international partner contributes important elements such as the highly maneuverable robotic arms built in Canada. So basically the International Space Station holds a lot of these satellites and allows us to do a lot of things, like such as using a cell phone, watching TV, all of that good stuff that we use every day. So in the last page, talking about space rescue, after Columbia space shuttle was launched in 1981, satellite rescue missions became easier. Technology on board the shuttles improved the chances of success. Manned maneuvering units, which look like legless chairs strapped to astronauts' back, allowed astronauts to move freely outside of the spacecraft. So, all right. So now we're going to answer some questions. Let's do the first one together, just for practice. And I want you to, when you're giving me an answer, I want you to use a full sentence.
Sophie, stop.
Okay, so let's do the first one. And I'll give you an example of how I want you to answer these. So, number 1, what is not a function of artificial satellites? So what do you think, what are artificial satellites?
They are...
And remember, we can always go back in our book. So let's go to the page that talked about those. So let's see here. So it says that artificial satellites are natural, such as the moon that revolves around the Earth. So if we answered this comprehension question, I know yours are going to be a little different. So what's not a function? What are things? Yes, right? So do you think an artificial satellite would control signals for cell phones or TVs or helping astronauts fly to the moon?
No.
No. So how would we answer this in a full sentence?
That what is not an artificial satellite is making cell phones, spreading TV signals, and resourcing astronauts.
Good. Excellent. Okay, so are you ready to answer a couple questions?
Yeah.
We're going to start making your slime, too. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to have cards, and you're just going to randomly pick one. And I'm going to leave your book here so you can answer them. Okay. Go ahead and pick up the first card. Let's read what the question says.
Do you believe someday we will need a way to collect space junk? Why or why not?
Here, I'll give you a piece of paper too, in case you want to write. So what do you think?
Yes, because if there's a lot of space junk, then if a spacecraft went up in space, it can get hit by the junk.
Yes.
Cause a lot of damage.
Mason, that was an awesome answer. Let's try another one. I like how you used a full sentence. And you explained yourself.
Who are meteorologists?
Who are meteorologists?
They study about space.
Yes, and what else about space? Specifically when you watch TV, when they're on the news. What do you think they study? The weather, yeah. Meteorologists are weathermen, but they do study space and aspects of understanding the satellites and how they work and when storms are coming in. Nice job. Okay, let's answer one more and let's start making that slime.
What effect did he Sputnik I satellite have on space?
Do you remember when we read about that? What effect did it have? And remember, you can use your book if you need to look back at what we read. So let's look back at this sentence.
Sputnik I was launched in 1995. Artificial satellites allowed us to do everything, things such as use our cell phones and select TV programs from 100 domestic and international channels. Satellites help captions, navigate ships, and meteorologists predict the path of dangerous storms.
Awesome. So what do you think? What effect did that launching that first spacecraft do for us?
Cell phone signals, TV.
Nice.
TV program.
Yeah, it started all that, right? So after this first aircraft was launched, a lot of other countries decided that it was a great idea to do it too and explore space. And it started developing some of our artificial satellites that we use for weather. Okay, so let's answer one more. I'll start your slime.
What are 4 types of satellites used in this book? A weather satellite?
Yep, great. That's one.
Earth satellite? No. Satellite. And Tommy.
Yeah, let me. Okay, so you talked about weather satellite. Then there were 3 more.
Environmental satellite.
Yes, that's 2. This one's really hard to say. You can just say SpySats, good. And our last one is
communication satellites.
good. So if we were to put that all in a sentence, we would say
All 4 types of satellites are weather satellites, communication satellites, environmental satellites, and SpySat satellites.
nice. Excellent, Mason. Okay, let's do your first step in slime. So you are going to need Elmer's glue, and I want you to pour the whole thing into the bowl. Nice. I have the nice job. All right. And we're also going to put in a tablespoon of baking soda. Have you do this next. And then we're going to answer 3 more questions. Nice job. We'll clean that up afterwards. Good. Okay, let's answer a couple more questions, and then we're going to do the next step in slime. Okay.
What do artificial satellites allow us to do?
We just answered that one.
They let us use our cell phones and select TV programs.
Excellent. Nice job using a full sentence. Okay, let's try the next one.
When did the Columbia Space Shuttle launch? 1957?
Close. That was spunky. You remember another date? It was like the last thing I read.
$2011?
Close. That was another shuttle. How about, let's read this sentence right here. After
Oh, 1981.
Great. So let's put that in a sentence.
Can I see
Your
the
answer.
card?
Oh, sorry. Yes, you may.
The Columbia Space Shuttle launched in 1981.
Excellent. Thank you for giving me a full sentence. Okay, let's answer one more, then we'll do another part of your slime.
Why do you think he don't know how to say that.
The Soviets did not.
Soviets did not spend a human on Sputnik 11.
So why don't you think they sent a human? Take a best guess.
I did not. To make sure it's safe.
Yeah, exactly. Because Spunky 1 was the first ever shuttle. And it came back to Earth 6 months later, burning up in our atmosphere. So it probably wasn't a great idea to have a human on it yet. Because it wasn't until 1960s when the U.S. sent the first man on the moon, right? All right, so our next step, you just answered 3 questions again, is to add a color. So pick a color you'd like to add to your slime.
How many drops?
Let's say 6 drops.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Good. All right, and then you can take your spoon and stir it. And see if we like the color.
It's a green mint.
It's a green mint. Ooh, that's a cool color.
Whoa. That's really cool. What I'm gonna do, Sarah. So
Okay. I think we only have 3 more questions. All right. Okay. 3 more, then we can. Oh, did you want to add any glitter?
No.
No? Okay. All right. Okay. You're doing an excellent job, Mason. All right, let's answer the last 3 questions.
What happens first in life
Cycle?
cycle of an artificial satellite?
So in other words, how is an artificial satellite put into an R2R space?
Spaceship carries it up and drops it off.
Excellent. Yes. Yes. And it sets it in the right orbit, right? Depending on what job it wants to do. Awesome. All right, let's answer the next one.
Where do satellites travel in a polar orbit?
Nice job, Mason. Like how you remembered to look at your book for the answer. Polar orbits.
Travel in a circle the Earth 18 times. So it circles
Wow.
the Earth.
But where do they travel? Like location. Can you read this sentence for me?
Polar orbits travel from pole to pole and circle the Earth.
So how do the satellites travel in a polar orbit?
They go to pole to pole.
Polar. Yep. And what are the poles?
Like North Pole,
And
South Pole.
yeah, so from north to south. Excellent. Okay, one more question.
16 countries
Contribute to the International Space Station.
If you were president of a country, what would you create as additional to the ISS?
So, the International Space Station we talked about, it's basically a huge center that 16 countries have contributed to, and it interacts us to all the satellites. So, this is just a critical thinking question. If you were the president of a country, what would you like to add to outer space? As far as like technology-wise, what is something that you would like to see them do?
Put up a satellite.
Another one? What would you have that satellite do?
Do more on the weather.
Weather? More advanced, maybe they could detect storms a month away?
Like
Or even more than that. Yeah.
Like a year away so they can get warned and get ready.
That's an excellent answer. Nice job. Excellent job reading and answering all your questions in full sentences. Okay, so our last step. We're going to add 3 tablespoons of contact solution. are. It's probably hard to get out. Try to get a nice full bottle. Okay. Ooh, let's stir it up and see what we got. See if it's gonna get slimy. Ooh, it is. That's cool. Nice job, Mason. Okay, while you're stirring, I'm just gonna wrap up.
Okay.
Because we're getting close to time to go. So you did an awesome job reading your science words and answering questions after reading the story. So we're gonna work on this next week too. All right. So good job today, bud. Nice job. All right, and you're gonna have fun making your slime. I'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.